Pricing your work as a freelancer is probably one of the most annoying and stressful things when you're just starting out. You don't know if you're in the ballpark of what the industry rates are, if you're asking too much, or if you're leaving money on the table. In this video, I'm going to show you how I went about pricing my work as a freelance video creative that gave me peace of mind and allowed me to support myself by doing what I love. But first, you need to be honest with yourself with regards to where exactly you are on the freelancing journey. And for that, we have 4 categories: complete noob, beginner, intermediate, and professional. Your goal should be to get to intermediate as quickly as possible, because that's where you're gonna see real leaps forward in your income. But let's start with the complete noob. You're brand new, no clients, no portfolio, no experience, no connections, nothing. You're basically in the creative wild with a backpack full of dreams and zero map. And that's okay, because a lot of successful freelancers started just where you are now. Unfortunately though, there's no point in talking about pricing if you're a complete newbie. Your mission should be 3 things. 1 is to build your portfolio. 2 is to grow your network, and I'm not talking about your client base, I'm talking about your network of other creative professionals, either in your niche or niche adjacent that you can learn from. And 3, you need to show up online. You need to build your online presence, and it doesn't matter if you think you don't have anything to post. Post work in progress, personal projects, what you're struggling with, what things you've learned, anything and everything. Just start making sure you pop up in people's feeds. Now, if you look online, you'll see a lot of people talking about doing free work. I would highly advise against doing free work if you're a complete noob at this, because when doing free work, you're working for somebody else, and it's your job to bring their vision to life, not yours. As a complete noob, your main goal, like we said, should be to build your portfolio. And in order to do that, you need to have full creative control over whatever it is that you're creating. You can't get that if you're working for other people. So my suggestion would be to start creating personal projects where you have full creative control and where you can put all of your creative juices and all of your skills to good work. You can worry about free work and getting new clients once you get into the beginner category. Speaking of which, let's move on to beginners. You've already dipped your toes in the industry that you want to work in. Maybe you've worked at a studio or helped out on projects. Maybe you had a full-time gig doing what it is that you want to do as a freelancer. You've got a portfolio, even if it's a bit wobbly and it's not really your best work, but you do have something to show. And now you want to move into the world of full-time freelancing. And that is exactly where I started out. I had some experience working a full-time job, but zero when it came to freelancing. And the first step that I took when I went full-time freelance was to figure out my minimum rate. But how do you do that? Well, that's fairly simple. You add up your monthly living expenses with your business costs like software, gear, etc. and optionally add on a little bit of profit that you want to make. Now, I say optionally because at this point, you're mainly trying to survive, to get from one month to the next without sacrificing food or anything else. But if you think you can tack on a little bit of profit, more power to you, definitely do that. So you take all of this and then divide it by how many hours you can realistically work per month. And that is your floor rate, your hourly rate that you shouldn't go below. And once you have that, you have your starting point. Now you can focus on other things, and yes, you can actually do free work, because you're no longer doing free work to build your portfolio, because you already have that, even though you can build up your portfolio if you do cool free work for clients. But the main goal here is to build your client base, get social proof, that is testimonials from happy clients, and also get referrals from those happy clients. That's how you start to slowly build your business and get more income on a monthly basis. And that's how you get to enter the intermediate territory. But before I get into that, if you're finding this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up so more people get to see it and learn from it as well. You've been in the game for maybe a couple of years, your work speaks for itself, and you get a steady stream of inquiries each month. And this is where the fun happens, because you get to stop trading time for money. And in order to do that, you need to start by switching from hourly to day rates or project-based pricing. Why? Well, because your clients are buying results, not minutes. Now, I can hear you thinking, because I had this thought as well when I first started, well, what's the point of a day rate if I work 8 hours per day and I charge hourly? Isn't that the same thing? And yes, from a logical standpoint, that may seem like it's the exact same thing, but in real freelance life, they serve different purposes, and here's why having both is a power move. First, client perception and simplicity. Hourly rates make clients think about the clock. They may micromanage or underestimate how long things take. A day rate, however, gives a more professional project-level feel. It says to the client, "I'm blocking my day for you," which sounds more committed and more valuable. And people often feel better buying a day of your time than watching a meter tick hour by hour. Next, it's scope and flexibility. Day rates are great for intensive focus work, for example, on-site edits, real-time feedback sessions, or tight deadlines. Hourly is better for ad hoc tasks, like can you just tweak this transition a little bit, or maybe some small batch edits. Next up, efficiency works in your favor. Let's say that you're fast. You could finish 8 hours of work in 6 because you're skilled and organized. If you charge hourly, you make less for being efficient. You're actually being punished for being really good at your job. But if you charge a day rate, you get full pay no matter how fast you deliver, which leads into number 4, which is higher earning potential. A well-set day rate can often exceed your hourly rate. For example, if you charge $50 per hour and you work 8 hours, that comes to $400. But if you charge a flat day rate of $500, then you get more money and the client's happier because they're paying for the dedicated day, not for the minutes. And lastly, there's less negotiation. Clients are more likely to say yes to a clean $500 per day than nitpicking, well, why did this take 8 hours at $62.50 an hour? And here's a pro tip. Keep both on your rate card and choose based on the project type. For smaller jobs or open-ended tasks, charge hourly. For full day bookings or focused work sessions, offer a flat day rate. Here's an hourly to day rate calculator for you to get a sense of what you can offer based on what your current hourly rate is. Now keep in mind this is just an example, you don't have to do it the exact same way, but it is a good starting off point. So on the left you have your hourly rates, and on the right 3 versions of a day rate that you could use. Use the low end if you're offering a deal, working with indie clients, or need to stay competitive. Your standard day rate is the one that you're probably going to use most of the time. But on the high end, you use it when you're in high demand, if it's a rush job, or if it's an agency or corporate client because they usually have higher budgets. A pro tip here would be to make your day rate sound like a value bundle. You could say things like, well, I offer a day rate at $500, which includes 8 hours of focused editing, fast communication, and up to 2 minor revisions. Another way to increase your income as an intermediate is to introduce packages. And this is where price anchoring works magic. Price anchoring is when you present multiple pricing options, so the highest price sets a mental anchor, making other prices feel more reasonable. Even if your client doesn't pick the highest option, they're more likely to choose a mid or premium tier than they would if it were the only offer. Here's an example of price anchoring for a freelance motion designer. Your first tier, the basic tier, which you offer at $250, you only give a 30-second video. So the second tier, the pro tier, which would be the most popular, would be priced at $400 for a 60-second video. And the premium tier, you price it at $750 and you offer everything that you can offer. You go full out creatively and work-wise. Now, why would this work? Well, because at first it's about perceived value. You're not just selling time, you're selling a solution. Then you also have middle bias. Most clients don't want the cheapest or the most expensive offer. They feel safest in the middle. And you also get the benefit of upselling, because some clients will go for the top tier offer if they feel the need is strong or that the return on investment is so obvious. Now here's how you should use price anchoring. First, always name your tiers. Pro, deluxe, starter, basic, whatever, just name them. Second, add visual cues, either a bold most popular tag or highlight the best value. And third, don't overcomplicate things. 3 tiers max, and be clear with deliverables for each one. Now that's all well and good, but now the question becomes, when would be a good time to start increasing your prices or offering tiers or packages or so on? Well, there's 2 ways that you can find out. One, if the demand is higher than the supply, meaning that you get more clients asking for your services that you actually have time to service each and every one. Or 2, clients will actually tell you, not straight up, but they will leave hints. For me, that was when a client said that your prices are very, very reasonable. And boy, did that hurt, because what he was saying was actually, dude, you are cheap. And that's when I knew I needed to start raising my prices. Now, if you've been crushing it for a while, welcome to the pro zone. This is where we flip the script entirely and move into value-based pricing. Instead of how long will this take me, the question now becomes, what is this worth to the client? Let's say you're animating a 60-second explainer video. To you, that's a week worth of work. To the client, it could bring in $1,000 in new business. So suddenly, charging $5,000 doesn't really feel so wild now, does it? Because you're not just selling a video, you're solving a business problem. Now, I'm not going to say anything further than that because, to be honest, I am not at that pro level, so I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know. But what I would suggest is you go on YouTube, search for The Future, and watch Chris Do's videos on value-based pricing because he has a ton of them and they're filled with valuable information. Now, with all of this information, if you're still on the fence on whether or not you want to become a full-time freelancer, then you definitely need to watch this video next and see all of the pros and cons.